If you drive around Sembawang in Singapore, you'll see dozens of huge black and white colonial houses dotted around the land. But among these houses lies a secret, something special hidden underground. In 1938, the British government completed the construction of Asia's largest naval base at the tip of Singapore. The land was chosen for its strategic location on the Straits of Johor to defend against the growing threat of Japan during World War II. And all the colonial houses you see that branch out from the old naval base here, they were all once residences for British naval officers and senior staff members. That's why all the roads in this area today are names of places that were within the British Empire or have a naval theme. However, because the naval base and its personnel had to be protected from an air attack from the Japanese, the surrounding terrain was fitted out with more than a dozen bunkers, air raid shelters, and storehouses. Today, it is widely rumored that a vast underground network of tunnels that sprawls underneath the whole of Sembawang is still waiting to be discovered. Tonight, we are going on a night adventure through history, visiting all the iconic sites to uncover the mysteries hidden in Sembawang. Okay, so we are here in Kenya Crescent. We can see that the signs are based off of British colonies. So Kenya used to be a British colony. First impressions, what a nice place to live, man. The houses are so huge. Dream house, man. So for those of you who don't know, in order to be able to get these houses, you have to actually bid for them on the SLA's website. So it doesn't mean if you want it, you can and will have it. After internalizing the beautiful houses for my vision board, I headed down the road to our very first World War II relic, a bunker with its ventilation shaft still poking out of the ground. So there are actually steps over here. But then, I found something really amazing. Oh my gosh, what? The bricks, they just leave it lying around like that? Nanyang bricks. So what I was holding were the original bricks used in the construction of these bunkers. Nanyang Brickworks was a major local brick manufacturer in the 1950s, and it produced handmade clay bricks that built post-war Singapore. And I was so shocked to find it just lying around on the ground. This is like a relic. Can I bring this home? Shit, there are steps here, look. I guess this was the entrance. Clearly, it has been sealed. So this was either a storage unit or an air raid shelter. Seeing that there are ventilation shafts, it could have been an air raid shelter, like used for long-term stays. That's why they need ventilation shafts. Wait, what's that? Jap forces, Japs, it's the Japs, get down! It's the Japs! False alarm, just Angmos. For my international viewers, Angmos are an endearing term that we locals use to call Westerners. So if you ever come to Singapore, just approach any of the locals and say, I am an Angmo, and we'll give you a thumbs up. So we are in Bermuda Road now. What the hell is that? It's food. Food for animals. Yeah, it looks like rice with chicken and kibbles, like dog kibbles. Annabelle pointed out that there are water bowls here, so one here and one here. Yeah, so it's definitely for animals, for dogs. So you can see those lumpy hills over there. That is a pillbox where soldiers would hide inside and attempt to shoot at enemy forces through the machine gun holes. So let's go take a look at that. I hope I'm not walking into a dog's den or anything. There's an opening there. Let me go check it out first. Maybe it's a dog's den. I don't really see anything inside. But anyway, yeah, here it is. Look. So this is at least 80 years old, built during World War II in 1940s, probably earlier. But there is a debate whether these pillboxes were actually used in the war when the Japanese invaded Singapore, and I will explain it now. It's actually heavily debated whether these defensive structures were even used to fight against the Japanese forces, because the decision to build these structures was part of a horrific misjudgment of the strategic defense of Singapore. Commanding officer of the Allied troops, Lieutenant General Arthur E. Percival, incorrectly predicted that the enemy would come from the northeastern part of Singapore. You can see from this map I found that he actually concentrated his strongest troops in Sembawang, the northeastern part of Singapore. Unfortunately, the Japanese actually invaded from the northwest, which was then held by the tired, overstretched Australian 22nd Brigade across a very wide frontage. According to Winston Churchill, the Battle of Singapore was the worst disaster in British history, and I bet Percival must have felt pretty bad about this loss. He did an oopsie. Yeah, so I was just looking at the bricks that they use, and it's not Nanyang bricks like the one we saw earlier. This one is KYK. So you can see the holes here for the guns to be poking out, but it has been completely sealed. So this could be the entrance that has been sealed up. This one doesn't have a ventilation shaft though, so it's probably not used for long-term staying, because a pillbox is where you just defend your position. Wait, I smell dog piss. As a dog owner, I can recognize the smell of dog piss. And I smell it somewhere here. Maybe this is their potty area.
I decided to get out of there before the dogs knew I was messing with their potty area. And as I went deeper into the housing estate, the air started to feel different.
We are at Gibraltar Crescent right now. There's something strange about this part of Sembawang. So we went further into the colonial house area, and all these houses are abandoned and it's all fenced up. This part, Gibraltar Crescent, there's nobody living here at all. But it looks like it's being refurbished because you can see scaffolding around the house. So perhaps the government is refurbishing these houses. These houses were built in 1929, so the oldest batch of houses in this Sembawang black and white house area. And this house that I'm looking at is called the Japanese Theatre. After Singapore fell to the Japanese, they used this house as a place to screen propaganda films. Allegedly, it is not confirmed. It's one of the oldest houses here, and I feel like I can be murdered here anytime and nobody will know. Because it's so quiet, there's nobody here. Hello! It's all empty houses. So we are looking for the Gibraltar Crescent bunker, and I think it is in here. You see this opening? So we're gonna go in. Looks quite eerie. Let's go, guys. You're coming with me.
At this point, I'm already very familiar with entering big bushy holes, like the one in your mouth, but I was not prepared for what I was about to see, and it was majestic.
Look at how overgrown it has been. Look at that, isn't that amazing? The roots just completely engulfed the bunker. That's so cool. Look at that, everywhere. Yeah, the roots fell onto the bunker and it just started growing down. There's an entire tree sitting on the bunker. That's so cool. So there's the opening, there's an entrance over there. And it looks like it's currently being used as a storeroom for paint. I'm just clearing the spider webs first, but yeah, I want to go in and check it out. Wow, it smells super stuffy. You want to come in first? As you can see, it's all just paint buckets. Look, even the roots of the trees are coming in through the ventilation holes. Yeah, but it smells super musty, super stale. The paint is leaking. I don't even know why they store the paint here. When was the last time it was used? So someone has been using this as a storage and then they forgot about it. What is this? Ew. Quite a small bunker. I'm guessing it was a storeroom used during the war. Now, it is still being used as a storeroom.
And after witnessing such a beauty, there was one thing I knew I needed to do. Mount myself on this erected veiny trunk. So using all my limbs, I pulled and tugged, and pulled and tugged, until BAM! I was on top.
I made it. Oh my god, there's a honeycomb here. What the f is that, a beehive here? I just found a honeycomb. That's not good.
But all jokes aside, I made sure not to damage anything and I scaled it really slowly so nothing was hurt or damaged, except perhaps my ankles.
That was cool. Goddamn ants crawling up my leg. I had like 12, at least a dozen ants crawling up my leg. Ah, fuck. Killing them all. Fuck, man. I feel the ants in my ass cheeks, bro. It just bit my right butt cheek. This next bunker, I'm not so sure where it is, so we have to actually do a bit of finding. All I know is that it's inside this part of the forest, so we're gonna go have to look for it. And hopefully there are no ants in there.
So this was where the hidden forest tunnels were rumored to be, and it didn't take long for us to spot something peculiar.
Oh wait, look. There's the ventilation shaft. So we must be quite near. Yeah, no, you know what? I think this is it. This is so unnaturally shaped. It's a U shape. This is 100% man-made. So we could be standing on the bunker right now. Just trying to kill the ants that's in my butt cheek. I can still feel it crawling around. Yeah, let's see the ventilation shaft first. Oh, it's locked. There's actually a ladder which you can climb into. Let's see if we can find a way inside or not.
Unfortunately, that ladder access was locked. So for the next 15 minutes, we scouted the surrounding area for any semblance of man-made structures. And then, we found something.
Yeah, so we found a makeshift shelter over here. And I think it's for the workers who come here to cut the trees down. That's why it's so empty here. I thought it was a natural canopy, but no, it has been cut. All the trees have been cut. Look, logs fallen, trees cut. For some reason, people are thinning this forest, so this must be one of the makeshift shelters for the workers who come here to cut these trees down. We're still having a bit of difficulty looking for the entrance of the underground tunnel. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yes, we still didn't find the entrance to the tunnels, and for another 30 minutes, we trudged through the pitch black forest with only our torchlights lighting the way. It was a grueling 20 minutes, and honestly, I was just about to give up because we circled the entire area twice and still couldn't find the entrance to the tunnels. But then, we spotted something.
Structures. There's another ventilation shaft here. So, we found another ventilation shaft here. Ooh, look, it's right there. So near yet so far. Means the entrance should be around here. Is that it? Oh my gosh. Yeah! Yeah! We found it. Holy shit, we were about to give up. I'm not gonna lie, I literally told Star and Annabelle, okay, let's just do a last search around the area, see if we can find it, because we've been looking here for about 30 minutes. I was even thinking in my head how to apologize to you guys for such a shitty video. But actually, Star found it. He saw a path around here. Annabelle walked forward and she spotted this door. Bada bing, bada boom, it's here. And it's so far from the first ventilation shaft. I wonder if it connects all the way there or not. How big is this tunnel? Holy shit, I'm so excited to go in. Alright. Let's head in. I brought my EMF reader as well because they say that entities and spirits do like to dwell in empty and long forgotten places. Let's see, quick check. Nothing much here. Let's look out for any insects or animals or snakes or whatever, okay? Look how cool it is. I don't know why I'm whispering, but look how cool it is. Damn, this was built in World War II. 1940s, 80 years ago.
This was the very shelter that the residents used to take cover from aerial bombings by the Japanese. Yes, the Japanese did start the invasion from the northwest of Singapore, which is far from here, but they also bombed the nearby Sembawang naval base as they started the invasion. In fact, this bombing was one of the first air raids in Singapore, so it's very possible that this shelter was used by the residents in the area. Imagine how scary it must have been, hearing war sirens and bombs dropping just a few kilometers away as you cower in fear in this shelter.
So the air is very musty and stale. You can even see the old school bolts and screws that they've used. 80-year-old bolts. That is so cool. I want to touch it. I'm touching history. You can see all the roots and the vines penetrated this shelter. Yeah, quite a bit of gecko eggs around. EMF check. Yeah, nothing here. This place is not rumored to be haunted, but I figured I might as well just check. I'll let you guys know if I see it spike. Yeah, so this is the ventilation shaft that we saw right before we found this entrance. Wow, inside here, there's a little latrine area. It's like a concrete toilet bowl. It's a latrine area. So this place was designed to be used as a long-term stay for emergency. That's why they have a bathroom in this air raid shelter. So it appears that there is another opening in here. I want to try squeezing in through that, just so that you guys have some orientation. The entrance that we entered from is here. You can see the metal gate right here. So right on my right. Oh man, look at the landslide. Oh my gosh. It completely collapsed this wall. So there's an opening here. Let's see what's inside. Oh. Yeah, so it has been completely blocked by fallen trees. I'm not sure if this is on purpose or not because all the branches seem to have been cut. Look, clean cuts over here. So I don't know if it has been intentionally blocked. Yeah, so it leads to another ventilation shaft or another exit. You can see the ladder over here. One of the rumors of these tunnels is that it actually has a sprawling network all around Sembawang. I don't see that. This one looks like a relatively small air raid shelter with only 2 passageways. I don't see any other entrances. Yeah, I don't see any other sealed off parts of the tunnel. I was hoping to find like a sealed off door, like a forbidden door, which leads to the vast network. But there doesn't seem to be that. Quick EMF check. Yeah, nothing here in this tunnel. So safe, guys. No ghosts here. Right when I said it, it spiked. No ghost here. Weird.
So what did we find down here? Not ghosts, not a secret network of tunnels, but concrete poured by hands that are now gone. Tunnels dug for a war most of us only know from textbooks, and a forest that has spent 80 years quietly taking it all back. These places aren't haunted because the supernatural linger, but because people were here, waiting and hoping that they would see the morning. The bunker doesn't remember them, so maybe that job falls on us, to stand in the dark they stood in, and to refuse to let it be just dirt and stone. In another 80 years, the forest will envelop the last remains of these treasures. But for now, it's still here. And you've seen it too, until the forest takes the rest. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Some of you have been asking me to explore places outside Singapore. As you're watching this video, I have probably already went to Malaysia to film some videos there. So that one should be quite exciting. It should be releasing very soon. Once again, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!